he's not going to call us to do wickedness. He called us to do righteousness, to declare his name upon the earth, and to prophesy the coming of his son back in the earth, to set things back in righteousness, back in balance. Go ahead.
Boldness before the face of such that have afflicted thee, afflicted him, and made no account of his labors.
Yep, and made no account of our labors. He through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, we're out here committing high treason against the established government of the United States of America and directly against Esau all over the world where he rules. Because the earth was given into his hand right now. He had dominion over the earth, and we're calling his ass out in the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. When it's not established by the Most High to do it, it goes down. The Black Panthers went down, and all those other groups and movements that attempted to do this went down because it wasn't backed by the Heavenly Father.
That's right.
That was the only thing I wanted to do. We can go back.
I got the Haman letter. This is the addition to Esther 13, starting at 1. It says the copy of the letters was this: the great king Artaxerxes write of these things to the princes and governors that are under him from India unto Ethiopia and 127 provinces. After that, I became Lord over many nations and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness. I propose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for a passage to the utmost coast, to a renewed peace which is desired of all men. Now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, Haman, that excelled in wisdom, this was an Amalekite. All right, this was a vocab back in the reincarnation. It says that excelled in wisdom among us and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity.
If I could just allow you, I want to bring this scripture out real quick. It's two verses because it goes directly with what that's talking about. Babu Kushar. Sirach, chapter 37, I'm going to start up at verse 7. It says, every counselor, because that was one of Artaxerxes' counselors, right? Every counselor extolleth counsel.
He was actually the second in command under Artaxerxes.
Right. So every counselor extolleth counsel, but there are some that counseleth for himself. Which Haman, he was pushing his own agenda. Okay?
Which was to exterminate us by
Right. It says, beware of a counselor and know before what he have need, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast the lot upon thee, and say unto thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee. Consult not with one that suspected thee, and hide thy counsel from such as envy thee. Now that you see how that ties right in, because we have to understand that Haman was an Edomite, and he still had that Edomite hatred for Jacob, for his brother Jacob, that he still wanted to destroy us. And it always popped up. So in this letter writing to Artaxerxes, who had the rule of the earth at the time, he wanted to try to push that and put that in his ear to counsel according to what he wanted. Okay, so in this letter, Artaxerxes is saying, I could just be peaceable with all the people, just keep them in subject, and everything will be happy.
As long as they pay tribute.
As long as they do what they're supposed to do for me, everything's good.
Yeah, the Jews want to, worship, at the temple, then, let them do what they do. But Haman was like, but nah, we can't let that happen.
That's another incident when they were.
As a matter of fact, we'll finish the letter because this is what he basically tried to smear us to the king.
Right.
Much like how Esau smears us in the mainstream media, this is exactly what Haman did here, right? It says, and Haman that excelled in wisdom among us and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity, and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all the nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward.
They're gonna stop us from ruling everything like we really want, because they're contrary to us. They're wicked and contrary to us. So he's slandering us. He said how bad it's going to be if he allows us to continue on to do our own thing.
Yeah, it's like he's hyping it up like with these people because they go against the grain. Their customs and their belief system is totally different than the kings that are actually in power and what they enforce and what they want people to subject themselves to. These guys they're clearly not for our turn.
Yeah.
These guys might be an imminent threat to our kingdom.
Yeah.
So we need to keep a watch over these dudes. We need to do something about these guys. We can't allow them to be self-sufficient and self-sovereign, you know, worshiping their whatever God that they believe. Because if their God have favor on them, we might. You already know, you know.
The Exodus, the first chapter, that happened in Egypt. The thought came across in Egypt as well.
If their God get back together with them, our kingdom can't continue. It's going to be brought down. And that's what Haman actually knew.
In fact,
He knew that, man.
And even in the time of slavery, that's why they wouldn't allow us to read the Bible. They said you can't even learn to read, specifically because they didn't want us to read this Bible.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't make the connections and put our God back to ourselves. That's why when you go to the Hispanic church and the Negro churches out there, what is the word? And they're telling you that we're not the Israelites. They don't say that every other religion has, or everybody, other nation that has their own religions, have the perspective that they're the chosen, or that they, that they have this or that, whatever their positive perspective is. But ours is, it ain't y'all. No matter what, it ain't y'all. Okay? So why is that? But then you think about who is pushing that upon us. Who is our religion giving us to us from? This ties right back to Martin Luther King. All right, because this guy set up the same destroyed mentality that's continuing to destroy our people today. And watch, right when it feels like we're about to revolt, what do? They bring out a movie about this shit. They put the speeches that they had written for him. Mm-hmm. They put those out there to draw the people back together, to make us back docile, man. Yep. You have more on that Haman?
Yeah, there's more.
Come. So that's what you're going to do. But the brother put a connection to it from first chapter to the second chapter.
Yeah, this going back into it, it says verse 5, it says, "Seeing then we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected to our state, working all the mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established."
And our kingdom got a chance to fall. We're trying to establish our kingdom forever. And eventually they're going to want to take us out of power.
Yeah, what's so messed up about that? Haman's an Edomite, and they weren't even in power. He's just
an asshole.
He's just
that rose up
but that just shows you that the fake Jews always have an influence on the other nations, man.
Yeah.
They're always back there moving shit around.
Yeah.
Like the vagabonds that they are.
Yeah.
And they always love to rise up in somebody else's business, man.
Yep.
So they can influence it.
Yeah.
Hey, Edomite told me, he said, I don't want to work for any company that I can't help to create, to make better. I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but you just want to raise up in power so you'll have influence over it. That's your real idea. And once you have influence, we've been reading about it.
Yeah.
Once you get close to the top, you're going to overthrow the top. That's what you normally do. You got it out.
It says, "Therefore we have commanded that all that are signified in writing unto you by Haman, who is ordained over the affairs, and in the next unto us, shall all with their wives and children be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month Adar of this present year." It's like that they who of old and now are malicious may in one day with violence go into the grave, and so ever hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled and without trouble. So he called for the mass death or the extermination of Israelites, man. Judah. Take them Jews out, man, before they raise up, because they're in opposition to our power, man. They don't serve the same God we serve. You know? And we can't afford to allow their God to have favor with them. Which the Lord was having favor at that time. The Lord used Cyrus to free us out of the Babylonian captivity so that we could go back and set up a place of worship, which was the temple at the
The
time.
Persians wasn't that bad on us. You see what Artaxerxes was talking about? He was like, man, I just want control over them. They can do whatever they want. I ain't tripping. I got power. I ain't worried about it.
So basically, when they see us out there, you know, demanding justice for everything that this devil's done against us, you know, basically proclaiming the judgment of our God against them, we sound like we sound terroristic.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like we're making threats at him. So he feels threatened. Now we got to label them, you know, a hostile organization, because now they're speaking about the overthrowing of governments and kingdoms now. You know, they're talking about, you know, the kingdom that's going to replace ours is going to be free of the lesbians and the gays and the transgenders and
all the
pedophiles.
All of our influence.
Yeah, everything that we worked hard to actually produce in this society. You know, we gave everybody the license to be whatever the hell they want to be. But now they're talking about setting up a government that opposes all that. They're going to be free of all that, you know, perverse behavior, man. So we're like a threat, you know. We're contra. We're enemies of the state, so to speak. You know,
We're saying that now it's their turn to be our slaves.
yeah, that you're going to go into slavery because you put us in slavery. You know.
Oh, you got something?
Psalms chapter 55, verse 20 and 21. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
That's how this man gets down. He always got some underlying way to, like we already read Sirach 12 about how he will overthrow us if we let him near us.
Never trust our enemy.
You know, we didn't actually get that verse, but we kind of hit on that point. This man is always going to look to control the situation. And how does he do it? With smooth words. Okay, so he seems peaceful still. He will wink with his eyes, but in his heart, he look how he can throw you into a pit. Okay, and the number one way that he uses his pit is with his smooth words, acting like he ain't the damn villain of the movie. We know you're the villain. We discovered you revealed upon the world that you are the villain of the movie.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Yet were they killing instruments, man. Not just on the hip, they out to be used. Okay? Even when his law books come around, he's using those swords, man. Okay? I want to hit the brother hit this, and I got to back him up with what you read with the Haman letters. Because this is the sun. There's no new thing under the sun. That's all I need to say about it.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply.
Well, let me present, do a little introduction to it. This is the same similar thing happened in Egypt. When we start to multiply our people, you know, under the captivity of the Egyptians, and then they start realizing, like, hey, they outnumber our numbers. Let's deal wisely with them. How do we deal wisely? We got to keep them captive under us.
Bro,
Same thing with Black Wall Street and all those type of communities that Jake was. We were under Esau, but we started to build amongst ourselves. And Esau was like, nah, you niggas can't have banks and doctors' offices and stuff.
Right?
Exodus chapter 1, verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty. And the land was filled with them. Now there arose up.
Because in Egypt we were separate. We just came in to work for the Egyptians and push it together. But they're watching us like, damn, they look kind of, they city looking big. They're trying to wax fruitful and multiplying. Man, what's going on? And we were in some resemblance keeping the words of the Heavenly Father, in some resemblance. Okay, go ahead.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us.
Turn the tide to win the war.
And
That's
so,
exactly what we would do. That's what the same thing Haman was trying to tell Artaxerxes. Like, hey man, if we allow them to do too, if you leave them alive, they're gonna fuck around and take us down. You're gonna really be pissed, and it is true though. That's exactly what's about to go down in this time. Okay? You fucked up, you created the internet, you let us get the Bible back, and now the truth and the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is out, you're going down. That's all to it. And there's nothing you can do to prevent it, nothing you can do to help it. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a beautiful bang-up job. Right? You don't have to lose more. I think that was it, right?
I hit that Zechariah 1 and 15 real quick.
But here it is, we coming back to our heritage. You know, the Most High done put the sinews back into us, he done put the flesh back on us. We're coming out of the graves.
Some of us are getting the breath of life back.
Yeah. And now, because you won't get back in that grave, now you gotta label you a hateful person. Now you're a hate group now.
Because we want to live.
Because you want to live now. You know? Now you're a hate group. You know, now you're a terrorist group. You know, now you're an extremist group. You know? Now you all these different terms now. You know? That shows you Esau, he's not ready for this, man. You know? He ain't ready for it. That's why he has to always plan. He always has to plan, plot, and strategize, man. Because his whole mission is to keep Jacob from his excellency. You gotta constantly set snares, privily, you know, that we may fall, man. Because once Jake rise up, that's it for his ass, man. And guess what? You seeing that men all across the four winds raising up. You're gonna label the whole every Israelite around the world. You're gonna go out. You can't kill us all. You can't shut this down, man. Because the Most High, less happily, you think you can shut down the Most High's enterprise? Try to shut down his business. Because we know how you are about men getting in the way of your enterprises, man. You'll set up a terrorist group real quick. You'll fund some mercenaries to go in and set up shop real fast, man.
Man, it was in the Purge movies. It was in the Purge movies what you do.
You're trying to prop up your petrodollar, and nations that are coming in between that. You setting right. You setting right up those little mercenaries and little troops over there, and you got them over there bombing motherfuckers, man. Right. So how you feel about your money and your investments? Guess how the Most High feel about his ministry? Mm-hmm. The Lord ain't gonna let you get in between that. You know?
Yeah. 1 and 15, right?
Yeah.
It's Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Yeah, the Most High wasn't super pissed to destroy us completely. He was a little displeased, so I'm gonna let the heathen rule over you till you realize that that you need me, and then you'll come back. But the heathen was like, shit, let's go. Open season on them. Let's go. So that's why when he comes back to pay you heathen back, and you 2/3, man. You 2/3 want the heathen. You want to be the heathen, and you want to forth the agendas of the heathens, particularly the Edomite men. You want their agenda to go forth, man. You see yourself right up in the tops of their society, man, living a good life, and it don't work that way. So let me bring this back out. 1 Esdras chapter 2. I'm gonna go straight to the point at 18. It says 18 down to 20. It says, "Be it known to the Lord King," it says.
they wrote a letter.
Right.
They were writing a letter to Artaxerxes also.
Right.
It was
This is our letter, right?
It was a list of I don't know what you call them, secretaries and whatever.
I'll read that part. Yeah, I'll read that. Verse 16. But in the time of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians, Beelimus and Mithridates and Tibelius, and Rethumus, and these names.
Yeah, these names.
Tedumus and Selemius, the secretary, with others that were in commission with them, dwelling in Samaria and other places, wrote unto him against them that dwelt in Judea and Jerusalem these letters following. To King Artaxerxes our Lord, thy servants, Rethumius, the story writer, and Selemius, the scribe, and the rest of their council, and the judges that are in Syria and Phoenice, being known to the Lord King, that the Jews that are up from you to us, being come unto Jerusalem, that rebellious and wicked city, do build the marketplaces and repair the walls of it, and do lay the foundation of the temple, which they should have known we were doing that. Was it Darius?
Hey, and what temple is being built now?
Yep, the spiritual temple.
The spiritual temple is being built.
That's
And they're upset that they can't be a part of that temple. That's why they're trying to shut.
And they can't, because we already know if you come into this temple to help build, you're going to destroy it.
Yeah.
That's why you can't be. That's why we don't have a physical temple.
Yeah.
That's why it has to be a spiritual temple. Because every time we built a physical one, some heathen came in and destroyed it.
Yeah, imagine you setting up a business that Esau he can't control.
Like this.
You know, anything that you set apart from him that he can't control, he gonna find a way to smear it, man.
Yeah, he gonna weasel in. If he can't get in, he
gonna demonize the hell out of it.
Right. Because he's jealous he can't get in. What's going on in here? None of your damn business. Esau, get away. Nah, this is y'all doing sorcery in there. You're gonna say something, man. Something to demonize it, right? It says, now if this city and the walls thereof be made up again, right, because it was torn down before, they will not only refuse to give tribute, but also rebel against kings. And for as much as the things pertaining to the temple are now in hand, we think it meet not to neglect such a matter. Why? Because once we build that temple, that's where our connection, our physical connection was back to the Heavenly Father. I mean, we built a temple, the Levites got to get back in place and everything else. The priests, we got to put everything back in place. We're going to go back into those scribes, into the scrolls, and start following the ordinances as we're supposed to when the Heavenly Father would listen.
The altars got to be built. All of
that's got to happen. So now we're doing that now, but we're doing it like the brother was alluding to, spiritually. But you can't fuck with it. But this is the same thing that vocab is saying. Oh, they trying to repent? No, they doing some other shit. I can't be a part. Fuck no, you can't be a part. Pardon my speech, but hey, no, you can't be a part. Because you're going to find a way to demonize it. The fact that you other Israelite groups have went to this guy and allowed him to give him all the insider scoop on it, what has he done with that information? Has he benefited it in any way?
All these interviews and debates, it's pointless.
It's gone nowhere. Gone nowhere. And now, did it help Yahweh Shimon? So yes, some people may have woke up from this debate, but at the end of the day, what he was trying to do was find a way to destroy it. All right, his intent was always that. That was it on that. Get it?
This is basically when the temple got written.
Yeah, but you can go ahead.
This is kind of lengthy.
Well, I'll get it. This is Psalms 125. Verse 3, it says, I'll start at 2, it says, as the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord is round about his people, from henceforth even forever, for the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. So it basically, as long as, you know, we're secluded, you know, we're to ourselves and we're worshiping the Most High in spirit and in truth, the Most High is around us. He's with us. And there's nothing no other nation can do, except if we put our hand to iniquity. That's when the Lord will allow that opening for these nations to come in and do what they do.
That's what happened every time the temple was destroyed.
Yeah.
Our people was fucking up right there.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was upset because when we first started to build the temple, you saw these heathens that tried to come out of the cut, and they tried to get involved with us to try to assist us in building our temple. We're like, nah, you ain't got nothing to do with this.
Same thing today.
Yeah.
Like you said, you ain't got this ain't got nothing to do with you either. No, you know.
So what was they doing? They started to smear us. They started putting up, slanders to the king that, these guys, they trying to incite stuff. They over here, trying to regulate it. And they're going against your commandments, king, because we wouldn't allow them to come and get in our business and build to our power, man.
It's funny that nobody asked the question, well, how you know? They didn't let you in either. How you know what they got going on the inside of there? Mm-hmm. But everybody realized, well, we can't come in, so we're going to assume that this is what he got the actual account of that you were just referring to.
Ezra, right?
Yep.
Ezra chapter 4 from the top. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you.
Hey, let us come into your let us come build your temple with you to the place of worship. The scriptures say a bastard or a heathen shall not come into the congregation of the Lord. So you're not allowed to come build a holy place unto our power, man. You're a heathen. You will profane the temple, man. And eventually that's what ended up happening when the heathens started coming into the temple.
They started sexing all types of orgies and shit in the temple.
Yeah, sacrificing swine's flesh. They did all that, man.
Yeah. Building idols and shit to other gods.
Yeah, that's why the Lord, he didn't want you there in the first place. So and just imagine like today, if you do set up a modern day temple, and you want to, basically the only people that's allowed to come into your church is basically your fellow worshipers. A random person off the street can't come into this church. So therefore, if like a heathen, an Edomite come and say, so you mean to tell me I can't come over here and worship whatever God that you're worshiping? No, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
That person is going to go and make an uproar and go to the mayor, and go to the I'm gonna go to city council. I'm gonna go to social media. I'm gonna blast this church. That's basically what they tried to do. Now the police lurking around, driving past the premise, trying to see who's going in and out of there.
Pulling people over when they leave and shit.
But that let you know the Christian church is wrong too. Because they say what? Just come as you are.
Anybody can come in. The whole world can come in. Everybody's included.
Yeah.
You
Even
believe
if
in
you
art,
don't. Even if you don't.
Yeah, we'll convert you.
Hey, when I was in the Christian church, I saw a manner of people in there. Oh,
Faggots.
types of people. And I was like,
Lesbians.
in my head, I was like, man, this shit ain't right. This shit ain't right.
You can tell it ain't right. Hey, as a little kid, you can tell it ain't right.
My son was like, man, I don't like this church. He hated going to that fucking church, man. He knew it wasn't right. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power, as ye do. And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us.
You got nothing to do with this. It's not for you, man. You're not an Israelite. None of the adoption and the covenants, none of this pertain to you. We're a holy and separate people, man. It don't pertain to you. It don't vibe with your spirit. You know?
Man, you can only imagine, like, seeing how so far gone Jake is today. If you have that same attitude, you have a church, and you saying that, hey, only you so-called blacks and Hispanics and natives can come into the church. White people are exclusive. Oh, man, that's fucked up, man. Don't the Bible say God loves everybody, man? What about John 3:16? You know?
Y'all racist.
Yeah, y'all, what kind of church is this, man? This is a racist-ass church.
Home people would come up against us more than the
Yeah. I mean, but technically, that's what they say about us anyway. We just don't have a church building. You know? The Edomite ain't getting into the camp. A Moabite ain't getting into the camp. A Hamite ain't getting into the camp. None of these nations are getting into the camp, man. This is only for the fellow believers, the fellow worshipers, man. You know, Yahweh Shai, even he told that woman, that Samaritan woman, you know, you don't know what you worship, man.
Hey, that's one of the reasons why Bocav is so upset. Because he can't be a part of this.
And he cannot convert us to what he believes.
Exactly.
But that's his own goal anyway, to push us off of what we believe.
He wants to bring us back to the plantation, and we ain't budging.
You know the plantation was good. Come on back. No. It's fun running around in the wilderness for free.
Man, you're not about to be the guy that's gonna show me how to be a moral person knowing your history.
Right. And the history of your beliefs.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's
we know about Calvinism, by the way.
Right.
We know the Calvinist history. John Calvin, we know that's why Apostle Ramla is calling you a terrorist, man. That motherfucker, that devil, he was a terrorist, man.
We really, everybody should be calling the whole Calvinist church terrorists. But that slander you like you slandering us. But the messed up part about the slander is yours is true.
Yeah.
Yours is actually true. That's history. That's a historical fact.
This man, he advocated for the death of people who basically had who were heretics in the doctrine. You know, if you even question their doctrine according to the established doctrine of the church, he advocated for you to get your head lopped off. And there was a particular dude who he basically didn't believe in the pagan Trinity, and he also didn't believe in what they call it Anabaptism, meaning the baptism of infants. If you was against that as well, you were liable to be put to death. That's what he taught. And that particular dude, I believe his name was Servetus, they ended up burning them to the stake. All right. The Catholic Church, they had so much governing authority that they was able to implement certain executions like that. If you go against the grain of the church, you could be put to death. And even though John Calvin wasn't a Catholic, you know, he was a Protestant, he still believed in that fashion, man. He agreed. That was one thing that he agreed with the Catholic Church. So that's one big terroristic organization, because that's a dangerous ideology. You believe different than the doctrine that I'm teaching. Hey, kill this guy. We can't. We gotta. Not only we gotta get him out of the church, but we also gotta have him put to death. Apostle Paul didn't teach that. He just said, if a man teach a doctrine that's contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, mark that man and avoid him. That's all he said.
That's all we do.
Excommunicate from that guy. Let him go on about his business.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
We call those appearances of evil out, and if you correct yourself, great, come back on in. If you don't, we're gonna call you out.
We're gonna rebuke you, and then we're gonna say, hey, the Most High is gonna deal with you. But we don't say, hey, now let's take this guy in a room. Let's go tie this dude up, and you know, let's beat the shit out of him until he get it right. You know? Yeah, man. Hey, John Calvin, that's what he subscribed. He ascribed to that, man. You Christians today, you won't do that. So are you willing to denounce Calvinism? No, you're not. So you are a terroristic Christian group, man. You got a lot of bodies on you, man.
Right. In the name of Christianity.
But yeah, we're terrorists.
Right. The brother got a little more on here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, come.
Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, had commanded us. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose.
Vocab. Who hired you, Vocab? We know somebody hired you to frustrate our purpose, to build this agenda. It's no clue that right after you feel like you got enough info on us, when he don't come up and ask questions no more. He just now uses the information he already has.
He already know the precepts what we gonna bring.
Yeah, he already know what we're gonna bring. So what, right at the same time, now there's all of a sudden when you learn all of this and you stop asking questions, you want to confront us like it's something else. What happens? Now there's black Hebrew Israelite terrorists shooting up delis and slapping people around and shit.
And you know he's a devil because anytime he come up to the camps, Dallas, the apostles, wherever he goes, he's all want to be. He wants to he wants to act cordial and everything. But when them niggas shot up that shit out in Jersey or any kind of incident happened, he's right there with a show. Oh yeah, the Hebrew Israelites, yada yada yada.
And he won't even say not Great Millstone. He won't say he just like that. You know? He's on fire to come against us. Yeah. But when he's in our face, he's all humble. Hey, that's the spirit. Sirach 12, bro. When we read Sirach 12, exactly right.
Yeah, no, he go humbling himself.
Yeah.
Take very good heed at his ass.
Right.
He's humble as hell when he go up to the camp. He's actually learning when he goes up to the camp.
Yeah, but he's learning not for the intent of learning. For the intent of using it against us. This brother got to hit Sirach 12 right quick, just the 12th verse. Because it says, if you set him near you, set him not by thee, or he will find a way to overthrow thee.
Start at 11 or 12?
It's just like, I hate to use this analogy, it might be corny, but
10.
Just like the Good Burger.
Yeah.
And there was when Good Burger, you know, they had so much clientele because you know they had a special sauce or whatever. So they set a Mondo Burger across the street, and they made their patties all extra jumbo and shit, putting all that steroids or whatever the fuck they was using. And once matter of fact, no, they didn't have the special sauce then.
They didn't have it yet.
They didn't have it yet, but when they came up with that sauce, the people started coming back over to Good Burger. They were like, man, I need to find out what's in that sauce. So what were they doing? They were sending like little spies and shit to go up in there to see, you know, what was they putting in their sauce. And what were they doing? They was putting poison in that shit, man. You know?
It sound like SpongeBob and the Krabby Patties too.
Yeah.
With plankton across the way. That chum bucket, right?
The chum bucket.
So he'll come to your establishment just so he can see what he can learn and extrapolate so he can get that out of you so he can use it against you later, man. You know? That's why you're never supposed to let this devil get close, man. Hey, if you would have ever came by the camp, you know, the past few years, I wouldn't have obliged to deal with him. I would have said, hey, keep pushing, man. We're not gonna deal with you. You know? We already see we already see your angle on how you coming, man.
Give you nothing.
None of this is gonna be genuine at all, man.
Right.
No edification.
No edification, man.
This scripture is so important. Hit that, bro. Hit that. I mean, you broke it down pretty much already.
So,
10.
Book of Sirach, chapter 12, and verse 10. Never trust an enemy, for like as iron rusted.
Why did any of you reject you never trust vocab? What was the point of trusting vocab? Have you seen other people get more views after they had a conversation with vocab? We're not looking for that, man. We're looking for the people that we can give this word to sincerely, that are going to hear this word and then teach other men as they have been taught. Okay? At the that the fruit of the tree of the Most High may grow. You got it, bro.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Uh-huh.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee.
That means when you clearly just observe this devil, he might try to act a certain way present, but then when you sit back and just let everything come out, ultimately he's gonna end up showing his true inner self. Everything is gonna seep out, and you're gonna see that, oh, this guy, nah, I saw right through you, man. I was watching you, I was peeping you out. All right, you was acting a certain way because you was trying to be a snake, but no, that's exactly who you are, man. All right, in this devil's humble beginnings, you know, he tried to be all, you know, like he was just about, you know, a Bible discussion, having Bible discussions, and you know, let's talk about differences and doctrinal differences, and you know how may the church come together with you and build and this and that. Then he went from that to, you know, you guys are wrong, and you know, this is what you're wrong on, and then he went from that to, well, if you guys believe that you're right, but I know about your history, you know, going back to One West, and you know, the commandment keepers, and you know, this guy learned from this guy, and going back to Abba Bivens,
and then there was a split,
and there was a split. So now he got to go into all this now. See, and brother should have been peeping him right from the gate when he started going into that extra stuff, man. This guy is a straight up agent, man. He was sent to get intel, man. You know, the elite set this guy up, man.
Apostles always told us, man, leave this guy alone. If they want to come out to the camp and debate certain things.
Yeah.
But the deeper history and all of that, man, you're not gonna cast our probe before it's one. You know? You got a little more, right?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Set him not by thee, lest when he overthrown thee, he standeth up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last.
Wait. Never let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. Okay? That is a clear cut of what an enemy, clear cut depiction of what your enemy will do, particularly these Edomites. Particularly in this occasion that we're speaking on, Vocab Malone. That's exactly what he's doing. He don't want you to be the Israelites. He do not want us to be the Israelites. He's gonna do whatever he can to make sure it's not us. Okay? That's his full agenda. The mission he was given, that's the mission he's on. You got it?
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith.
Yeah, always let that be a constant reminder that hey, don't ever let this guy around you, man. He's only here to take you down. Okay, he didn't come up the same way. He didn't come up into this truth, but you know, not to say he came into it, but he didn't come up the way you're supposed to get this information. He came up another way trying to get the information, asking questions from the outside, hoping that we'll let him in because he had good questions. Okay, but they weren't sincere.
Proverbs chapter 26, verse 25. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart.
Oh man. I mean, we should stamp that on vocab forehead. For real. There'll be 7 abominations in his heart, waiting to try to slap them all on us.
Complete number.
The complete number. Anything that a black guy with a beard does that ever character that they tie in that he went to church and was about the Bible or anything like that, he's gonna slap that on the black Hebrew Israelites, even though we're not black Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Watch. He's been doing it. He's been tying every wrong spirited ass nigga that has been around this thing at all, slapping us right in. Oh, they're all like that. They're all good at guns and they all build bombs and shit.
But you know what they do? It's like they say it in a roundabout way, but then they'll come back and say, "Well, I'm not talking about all Hebrew Israelites."
Right. Nobody heard.
But we know exactly. You talking about us, bro. You talking about us, man.
And their mind ain't gonna let them make the distinguishing differences because you're not making it.
If you putting that responsibility on us that what we teach is responsible for why these guys go out and commit these acts,
Right.
you're basically putting it on all Israelites. That's basically what you're doing. You know?
And with these other groups, he could find some fault in them, but he's focused on Great Millstone. He's like trying to find something on us, some kind of dirt on us, you know?
And he even lied and tried to put Peter Lucas Moses on this. He even tried to say to that dude Muhammad Khan that Peter Lucas Moses was a GMS member. He lied like a motherfucker. That dude was never a part of Great Millstone.
And at the time that he did what he did, we knew exactly who were the Israelites. Every brother was accounted for on video. So the congregation was small back then. Easy to keep, who was who.
He was actually a follower of Comfort. You know? But he tried to slap that on us, man. That's a straight up slender.
And he tied it in, the weak ass way he tied it in. Well, they all come out of one West.
Yeah.
How he tried to tie it in.
That's why I say he's Haman in the reincarnation, man. Haman did the same shit, man. You know?
It's Proverbs 26 and 24. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation.
Because he's gonna keep pushing as long as the mainstream media pushes this. They keep pushing this link of the black Hebrew Israelites to so-called black. That's becoming synonymous now. The black Hebrew Israelites are now a black anti-Semitic. Because now they're gonna tie all these attacks to us now. Because everybody that allegedly, if a Jake happened to watch an Israelite video and that's on his history, and then he goes out and smack an Orthodox Jew or something like that in New York somewhere, it has no relation to what he watched on YouTube, but he happened to just go out and because he's mad, his community is getting gentrified. So, he's like, man, these motherfuckers, they're trying to force us out of our community. So you just, he's the so-called Jew walk by and have a little smirk on his face or something, Jake. you know how Jake get.
Bro.
I'm not justifying what Jake do, but Jake, that turn up on him.
You can understand where it's coming from.
But that happened.
But when that happens, all of a sudden, once that get national coverage, they got to go back to, they're gonna put the main focus through the whole propaganda of anti-Semitism or black anti-Semitism. They're gonna focus mainly on, what sparked his ideology, what sparked his behavior or his motive to go and do that to that thing.
Yeah. And
we got some evidence that, according to his learning history. I mean, it's like his watching history on YouTube. His search history, that this guy is a watcher